while we are plugging. First of all, I would like to say that I'm very happy to see all of you. Thank you so much for coming for our lecture today. So it's an industrial holiday. That's how it's called, right? These days in July months, everyone's going for vacation, but you're going to Krishna temple. So thank you so much for that. So no matter what, you're here for Sunday program. You don't need to switch it on. I will switch it on later. So today I wanted to speak about very beautiful verse from our scriptures, and the scripture calls Upadeshamrita, or in Srila Prabhupada's translation, it's Nectar of Instruction. So this book was written by Rupa Goswami, our main acharya. We are Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they called Rupa Nugas, those who follow Rupa Goswami. Because Lord Chaitanya, he wrote this philosophy, but he didn't compile it, and then he didn't wrote it down. So that task he gave to our 6 Goswamis. You can see on our altar in the end of Guru Parampara, the 6 figures, and this is 6 most important figures for our sampradaya and for our philosophy, because they are the ones who actually wrote down and classified and systematized our philosophy. And Rupa Goswami, he wrote a very small book. Actually, it's not even a book. It consists only of 12 verses. And these 12 verses tell us how to basically from zero to come to the very highest goal in our Krishna consciousness. And he's saying that the recommendation for us to actually to come to Radhakund and to live in Radhakund, but not just the material Radhakund, but spiritual Radhakund. It's a eternal place of Srimati Radharani where he resides. Then he give us the path or instruction. And these instructions, it's not that he compiled these 12 verses. Some of them he compiled, but some of them, but some of them is actually he took from different places. For example, verse number 3, where he's saying about things that unfavorable for our bhakti. He took it from Yoga Pradipika and just changed the end of the verse, saying that in Yoga Pradipika it was said, these things are unfavorable for your bhakti, and in Yoga Pradipika is written it's unfavorable for yoga. But since we are doing bhakti yoga, or verse number 1 was taken from Mahabharata, and that's the verse that we will speak today on. And first I would like to speak about the name of the book itself, Upadeshamrita. So the word Upa means to bring closer. Actually, I would like to bring you closer here, because there will be more people coming, and you see how much space do we have here, and I feel you're very far from. So please come a little closer, that more people could fit. Because most of people, unfortunately, come for prasadam. They don't consider lecture to be prasadam, unfortunately. I hope one day our qualification become so nice that people would consider it to be prasadam. So, and the dash, the verbal root dash, or the word dash comes from verbal root dig, yes? Like in English, it means the same, like in word indicate, right? Or Latin word dictum, right? Or verdict. So basically, this root means to indicate for something. So Upadeshamrita, that's not like law, it's advice for you, basically, which means like I will show you, I will indicate you where to move. So it's like an indication for all of us. It's like a roadmap that's showing us, I will help you to understand where you are right now and help you to move towards the right direction. So very beautiful name, right? It is like a very clearly indicating. Yeah, so that's a roadmap for those who would like to develop spiritually. And I highly recommend to all of you to read Srila Prabhupada's translation and commentary on this book, which calls Nectar of Instruction. That's why this book is so important for us, so that's an indication. So I will start. Just one, I need to understand how to use this thing. And first I will read the last verse of Upadeshamrita, which indicates the goal. Everyone can see, right? Tannama rupa chaitadi sukaritananu smrityo kramena rasana manasini yoga tishtan vraje anuragi jananugami kalam nayeta kilam itupadesha saram. The essence of all advice is that one should utilize one full time, 24 hours a day. Upadesha Sara, this is the essence of all Upadesh. In nicely chanting and remembering Lord's divine name. So that's the ideal. That's ideal for us. So we take all of our time, and what we do, we only think about Krishna and only chant holy name. So that's ideal. I wouldn't say that we are there right now. We are just reading the goal, about the goal. Remembering transcendental form, qualities, and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Vraja. So you see, Vrindavan or Goloka Vrindavan, it's not the physical place. He says the one who is constantly remembering the Lord and chanting His name, this person is already residing in Goloka Vrindavan. And another beautiful thing, and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. So you can see that even in the spiritual world, we don't lose this guidance. We're still under the guidance. All spiritual world is built like that. Everyone have guru there. Even Krishna have guru. Right? And all of us need guidance from very beginning. And even when I achieve the goal, being there in the spiritual world will still be serving Krishna under the guidance. So there is no independence. There is no independence here in material world. You cannot be independent. You're always dependent on your body, on the weather, on your mind, on the other people, right? And also, in the spiritual world, there is no independence because everything is based on relationships. It's not possible to serve Krishna without relationships, right? It's not possible to don't have relationships and love someone. It's just contradictory things. So that's why the guidance is still there. You see, we are learning so many things in school, but one thing we don't learn how to love God. So we are coming here as we come to the school, and we are learning how to love God. That's why Srila Prabhupada said that this temples of ISKCON is educational institutions. And Gaur Govinda Maharaj went even further. He said, it's a school of cry. We'll learn how to cry for Krishna in these temples. One should follow the footsteps of the Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to His devotional service. So we don't serve Krishna independently, and we learn from them how they are attached. We want to absorb their bhakti. So that's why we need to find the people who have bhakti. That's very important. And this is the verse that I wanted to speak about today. So this was the ending point. It's not the end, it's only beginning of the spiritual life there, right? That's where most interesting things starts. But this is our point. Basically, not even speaking about bhakti here, speaking about how to become a human being. That's what we need to learn. Because Srila Prabhupada said many times, not many times, but at least sometimes we're there, that where Srila Prabhupada said, before becoming devotees, before becoming Vaishnavas, we need to become humans. And therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami, he starts his Upadeshamrita from this verse, which speaks about how to become a human. Because without that, it's very hard to practice bhakti. There is certain qualification for that. Just one moment. Oscar, I need your help. Can I ask you? I have this notes over here, but there was much more, but I cannot. You see, I cannot kind of. I don't know how to use it. I think it's on the next page. Okay, I don't think so. It's there, but anyways. So let's read the verse together. Vacho vegam manasakroda vegam jihva vegam udaropasta vegam etan veganyo vishaheta dhira sarvamapi mam prithivim sashishyat. So a sober person, dhira, who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger and the urges of the tongue, belly and genitals, qualified to make disciples all over the world. So this vega, urge, we need to learn to be able to overcome these urges. Or in other words, we can say, we need to learn how to speak, how to deal with our mind, how to deal with our anger, right? How to manage our tongue, our stomach, our genitals. All these things need to be learned to manage. That's very important. And dhira, the sober person, basically, the person who learned how to deal with that, right? Because he have stable mind. All these senses and mind, not that they are fully under control, but this person know how to deal with it. Like, nobody can control the mind, right? Even Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, he says, my mind is like, to be able to control my mind is like catching the wind. Or like trying to stop the wind. How you can stop the wind is impossible. So even Arjuna, who was standing near to God himself, was feeling hopeless to control the mind. What to speak about us? But for us, we need to learn how to deal with our mind. This knowledge is even more important because knowledge gives you responsibility. You become responsible for yourself. We can see like in modern world, we have so many divorces. We have so many, people struggling with their mental condition. Depression is said that actually that's the biggest pandemic, depression for the people. Why is like that? Because we don't know how to deal with our minds. We don't know how to deal with all these things. We don't know how to deal with ourselves, and we don't know how to even take responsibility, where to start. So dhira is the one who learned this art, who took responsibility for his own life. In the modern world, or in Western world, we call, when we want to try our, we want to make love with someone, we say, I want to find my second half. So that's not the case. You cannot find your second half. There is no second half. If you're incomplete in yourself, there's no second half. It's like, I want to find a table set, like for my kitchen. But the problem is that the stool, the chair doesn't have one leg, and the table doesn't have any tabletop. So I cannot put anything on this table and I can sit on the chair. So that's this trying to find second half. I'm the chair without the leg and she's the table without tabletop. This nice couple. So that's how we try to, make good marriage in our Kali Yuga, right? But before you become complete in yourself, before you take responsibility for your own mind, Nobody will save you. It doesn't mean that, doesn't matter with whom you are getting married. No, it's very important. But what is more important, that you will be responsible for yourself. So that's why we're just obliged to become Dhira. We need to learn these things, to deal with our mind, deal with our tongue, learn how to speak properly, because we are in society, we are at home, we are in our body. All these things will be there. They will not go anywhere. And that's why I want to speak about, and also it said here, this kind of person can give diksha, right? He can initiate other people. So what does it mean? He's like doing this ritual, this kind of person, or what is diksha actually? So like diksha samskara. And I want you to see what is definition of diksha. Samskara hinama samskarasya guna danena va sya dosha payena nena va. Samskara is the process by which the person cultivates his good qualities and removes bad ones. So you see, samskara is the process, is not the ritual. For example, when we are getting initiation from our spiritual master, we're not becoming someone by being initiated. We are getting initiation in the process of purification of ourselves, in the process of learning to chant Hare Krishna. Right? For example, my Guru Maharaj was telling, he was in this classical Ayurvedic clinics where they're using mercury for their medicine. So, and this doctor, he was showing how they purify the mercury. So they're doing this samskara for the mercury. So they take the mercury and then they add all the herbal juices and then different herbs, and they mix it together until the mercury becomes purified. So the process of this samskara for the mercury can take more than 1 year. So every day for hours and hours and hours they sit and mix this mercury. And he said that this doctor at one point, he came to and showed this mercury, and he said, you can eat it at this point. So that's the process of spiritual life. We have our spiritual master who have this mercury, the poisonous material of us. We have still so much poison in us. But spiritual master take us, and then he put the knowledge, he put care there inside, he put all the good herbs, and start to mix us with all the good things, right? He give us the holy name, he give us Shastra, he give us different other Vaishnavas devotees, he give his guidance, and he start to mix us poisonous material with all the good things, that eventually we become purified to become eligible for Bhakti, to become good for Krishna's consuming, that Krishna would also be enjoying us. Because when we are full of kama, krodha, lobha, all the lust, anger, greed, we're not tasty for Krishna. Just imagine the source of all beauty, the source of all knowledge, the Bhagavan himself, and then this kind of jiva appears in front of me. Will it be interesting for this kind of person to be with us? No. He's the purest, he's the most spiritual. He never get in contact with matter. And then here we are. Accept me, Krishna. Krishna says, okay, of course I will accept you, but you accept the process first. So in Sanskrit, the word culture is Sanskriti. Sanskriti. So the language Sanskrit and culture, they are the same word, right? Sanskriti. So, and what does it mean? The Sanskriti means purified language, purified speech, right? So this is the process. Sanskriti is the lifestyle of one who purified their speech, who become very conscious of what he's producing with his mind, with his tongue. So and when we become conscious about it, you can see guna denava, we start to acquire good qualities. And dosha payena nena, we start to get rid of bad qualities. So that's why Srila Prabhupada calls our movement the Krishna consciousness movement. We want to be conscious. And when we are becoming conscious of what's there in our mind, then we start to purify ourselves. So samskara, it calls the refinement. I know we don't have this word in Russian, but in English there is this nice word, refinement. We start to become more subtle and we become more fine, right? When there is a grains there, the more smaller the grain is when you, how you call it? When you grind it, it's become more fine. So our nature should become more fine. We should become more refined. That's what samskara is doing with us. And of course, and it's always, and even with children, when we're doing this samskara, we are initiating in the culture, in the process. When we come and we give the first grains to children, right? We give them prasadam grains, not just grains. We are trying to give them these impressions, because samskara means impression, right? That will give them impression of the culture of Krishna consciousness. So it's not just some kind of rituals that we are doing. We try to not be ritualistic. Srila Prabhupada many times he told, I really hope that Krishna consciousness movement will not become a church, will not become like a national church or something like that. Why? Because we don't want to be ritualistic. We want to be conscious of what we are doing, actually. It's very important. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he speaks about these 6 things. He gives a comment on this verse that we just read, Vacho Vegam Manasa Krodha Vegam. So we can read it together. Can you ask these devotees behind you, like, just talk somewhere else, because it's the same like you're inside, you know? Thank you. So first one, the urge to speak or to use the words that cause suffering to others. So it's vacho vegam, right? You can see it? So we are speaking about the verse vacho vegam manasa krodha. So vacho vegam, what means to overcome the urge to speak? So we want to overcome this urge to speak and stop the words that cause suffering to others. So manasa krodha vegam. Manasa, agitation of the mind or countless desires and plans that arise within. Third one, krodha, anger or use of the harsh words. Udaropasta, vehemence of the tongue or greed to enjoy the 6th type of taste, specifically sweet, sour, bitter, pungent, salty, and astringent. The next one, urges of the belly or tendency to eat more than necessary. And then agitation of genitals, of desire of sexual union between man and woman. So I will go quickly first on speak about them, and maybe we'll stop at the vacho vegam, speaking a little bit more about vacho vegam, right? So the second one, agitation of the mind, we can see that how mind become agitates by consuming everything around. Just now, actually, we speak about sadhu sangha so much, about how it's important to meet people who are sadhus, who are saintly people, who are practicing Krishna consciousness. And you can see only now the scientists, they found some kind of neurons are there when you're associating with someone. These neurons, they're copying this person. So you're copying the one with whom you're associating, even on the level of brain, even on the gross level. So that's a funny thing, you know, that it's not really obvious. But when we are associating with materialists or people of like atheistic mind, we definitely 100% absorbing their consciousness or philosophy or whatever. Or when we associate with those who are not just critical, but just offensive towards others, we also become offensive like that, because our mind inevitably becomes agitated. So that's, or nowadays we're associating with our mobile phones. It's funny thing, thank you so much. It's funny thing, you are reading Bhagavad Gita, you're listening to some lecture, and then you open Facebook, Instagram, and immediately you're just getting tsunami of all kinds of content, right? And what do you think? Our mind is not absorbing it. Our mind is absorbing it. And it's not just absorbing the content itself, it's absorbing the values of the people who are, preaching to us through our mobile phone. And I think, if before some years ago, if like 40 years ago, 30 years ago, you would ask any devotee, you would ask them, do you watch TV? They would be like saying, are you crazy? That it was total Maya to watch TV. But nowadays, it's not Maya to watch Facebook, to watch YouTube, watch all this stuff. And I'm sure that I can argue, you can argue with me, but I'm sure if we will take all your mobile phones right now, 95% on the content is there in the Facebook or on YouTube is not devotional content. Just because we devotees, we don't produce as much, right? So that's the manasa vega, right? This urges of your mind comes from something that you consume. That what you put into your mind, your mind will ask for it later, right? So if you put something Krishna conscious in your mind, later your mind will get the taste for it and be like, I would like to listen to the lecture. I would like to listen to the kirtan. I would like to go to the temple. I would like to, whatever, read Bhagavad Gita. But if it doesn't want, it means we just don't put enough devotional content inside there. So anger. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, in particular, harsh words. And you can see when we are uncontrolled, we want to say something nasty to people. When don't control when we are so angry, we don't control ourselves. It doesn't matter. We don't listen anymore. The heart, the ears are closed, and we just want to say something bad. It doesn't matter what. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, if you learn how to just not say nasty things, just keep it there. At some point, you will see it will work for you. It will be good for you and for relationships, for your relationships. Because they say you cannot unring the bell, right? Or spoken word cannot be taken back. Because also we have in Russian we say the word is like a sparrow. If it flies out, you don't catch it again. Yeah, so that's the words the words are really powerful. Even in the Bible it says the word is like fire. The word is like fire. So you can burn someone with word. You can make someone to lose their faith with a word. You can make someone to lose their good relationships to you with your words. So before saying something, even if we feel very, very, very angry inside, we need to learn how to keep it inside and not let it out. Because this small thing can destroy years and years of building relationships. And I think all of you have examples when people are building relationships for years and years and they say something to each other and it's just demolished. So easy to lose good relationships, and so easy and also so easy to, say nasty things to each other. So, and that's Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that's how you control your anger. You just don't let it out, the harsh words. Go and beat your pillow, whatever, but don't offend others. Then, the urge to enjoy 6 type of taste, specifically sweet, sour, bitter, and all of this, and urges of the belly, eat more than necessary. So that's basically speaks about the greed, right? When we are greedy, we want to get more. We're afraid that we will not get enough, or we will stay hungry, or whatever. So greedy people, they want to eat, they cannot stop eating. Of course, some people, they are just sick. But overall, if we want to consume a lot, it's not only about eating, right? It's everything about consuming. I cannot stop myself. I don't have any willpower. So these things are on the top of me. I'm controlled by the food. I'm controlled by the whatever device I have. I just cannot stop consuming. So this is the greed. And then the last one, agitation of genitals for sexual union. And sex itself, it's very deep samskara. And if it becomes just our value, because if sexual life is in in the marriage life, then it's completely normal, because it's one of the urges of the senses, right? But if it by itself becomes just a goal, right? Or something that I will just wait to enjoy, and this becomes a very deep samskara that stop becoming compatible to the bhakti itself. So, I mean, all of these things like overeating, oversleeping, right? Sexual desires, they can be obstacle on bhakti path, because they all are very deep samskaras, and they are samskaras of using others for my own enjoyment, and putting myself in the center. And when I live in this mindset, my mind is always agitated. I think all of us, we've been agitated by sexual desires. Very hard to think about Krishna when your mind is agitated. Therefore, now one of the most popular websites is porn sites, because seeing that, it leaves such a deep samskara or deep impression in people's minds, it becomes addictive. So mind is constantly agitated. It's very hard for the people then to get rid of this kind of thoughts. Right? There's the same like alcohol and drugs. It's also very deep samskara, deep impression for the people. So, and this kind of impressions, they are not compatible with bhakti, because when I'm practicing bhakti, I'm doing it by my own will. It's my free will that I'm doing. Nobody can force me to sit down and chant japa at home. Nobody can force me to sit down and read Bhagavad Gita. And it's harder thing to do, and it's only thing when I'm doing when these things will not control me, right? When the urges of the senses are not controlling me, I can sit down and read. And what is bhakti overall? Bhakti is the process when I'm getting inside of my heart, right? It's an introversial process. And these things, they are keeping me extrovert, right? I need to be, my senses are going outside. And the senses of the yogi is like a turtle, Yogi is like a turtle. He knows how to, at which point he knows how to, at a certain point he knows how to put his senses inside. So that's what we need to learn to do, right? And that's Bhaktivinoda Thakur also gives example, 2 types of disciples or students is Bahir Mukha, is the one whose Mukha means face, one whose face is outside, or which we can call extrovert, but it doesn't. He can be introvert also, but his senses, his mind is concentrated on the sense objects that are outside. It means that motivations of this kind of person will be not the best. And then Antarmukha is the one whose face turned inside, one who absorbs his mind, absorbs his heart, and try to concentrate himself. Very hard to concentrate when you're agitated by all these urges. Sorry. Мы сейчас начинаем читать джапу. Okay, so I'll finish now. I will just read the last verse. Shoka Maryadibir Bhavair Akrantam Yasya Manasam Katham Tatra Mukundasya Spurti Sambhavana Bhavet. How can Lord Shri Krishna appear in the heart of a person who is governed by emotions like sorrow and anger? It's from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So sorrow and anger will inevitably be there when we will be controlled by the urges of the senses like that. So I didn't give you any answers now, but at least I gave you indication that we need to learn to control these things. We need to learn how to deal with these things. And this is not Maya. This is very important. We cannot be transcendental, not considering these things in our spiritual life and of material life overall. That's the human level.